Hey, 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 God bless you. God bless you. Welcome to Joy Life Center. I am your life coach, Andrea Jackson. I'm in my new studio, so I'm hoping that the sound is good, the audio and the visual. I hope all that's good. I hate that you couldn't be with us today, but I'm so glad that you have subscribed to our channel so that you won't miss anything. So look, we're about to start. We're going to talk about a technique today that's going to get us from point A to point B. It's going to get us to the change ahead that we want to go. So just bear with me. I'm about to start admitting others to our group. So just hold on a second. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let's see. One person has their audio on. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Hi, is that Bianca?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, God bless you. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I see Miss Susu is chiming in. I guess she's struggling with her audio. So we're going to be waiting for her. Let's see here. Anyone else joining us right away? Just give us a second. We're going to allow Miss Susu to shift. Let's see here. All right, all right, all right. Let me see if I can help Miss Susu. Hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me besides Bianca? Let's see. As others are chiming in to their audio, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Joy Life Center. Thank you so much for chiming in. Change is ahead. You know, on today. Hi. Hey, Sister Lupe. All right, all right. Look like Miss Susu is still trying to get her audio on. Good afternoon, Sister Lupe. I see you on. Thank you for muting your background. We're going to go ahead and start. We're going to do check-in in a couple of seconds. I want to say that change is ahead. Change is definitely ahead. And one of the things that we have to kind of learn how to do is how to cope in the moment. We know where we come from. We have an idea of where we want to go, but sometimes things happen in the interim that we don't know how to properly cope with that gets us to where we've been to where we're going. If you look behind me at this beautiful view of the bridge, I'm not sure which bridge it is, but I want to say that it's a beautiful illustration of our lives. We all start somewhere way back there, and we get on this road called life, and we're driving down this road called life, and we don't know exactly where we're going. But after a few experiences, we know where we don't want to go again. We have some ideas or maybe even some goals of where we do want to go, but things start happening. Feelings get in the way. Past issues get in the way. The stormy waters that you've been through starts raging and you don't know what to do. And sometimes it hinders us from getting to that change ahead. Well, today we're going to talk about a technique that's going to help us to get from point A to point B. So I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. I want to remind everyone, please go ahead and put your phones on mute, put your Zoom calls on mute. That little microphone at the bottom here, go ahead and click it. When you see that line go through it, that means you're officially on mute. If not, you'll see some green bars go up and down. That means that we can hear everything you're saying. So please feel free though to unmute your phone and share when you get ready to share, because this is our group dynamic. We all want to hear from each of us. So I'm very grateful today to have you guys on the line. Again, let's start our check-in. I think that Miss Bianca was our first caller. Miss Bianca, go ahead and check in. How's your state of mind, your mental health? How's your mood right now? Go ahead and check in.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm doing okay. Okay. I'm doing okay on today. So that's what I got to say. Hopefully after this class, I'll be doing better. Thank you.
That's awesome. And you know what? I'm going to check back with you after group, and we're going to see how you feel before we discontinue the line. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's see. Sister Lupe is with us. Sister Lupe, go ahead, unmute your phone and check in today.
Hi everyone, Sister Lupa here. I'm doing good. My battery's a little low. I'm out and about, so I will be calling from my other phone when this phone dies. Yeah, but I'm doing well. I'll do better after this group as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to check back in with you to see how you feel after we practice this technique. That's awesome. And thank you, ladies, for your honesty. We're over that. Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm great. All is well. We're over that. We're in a place of healing. We're in a place of help. So we're going to be open and honest, and we're going to get what we need. Thank you so much, Sister Lupe. Let's see. I see Miss Susu on the line. Miss Susu, go ahead and chime in.
Hi, this is Susu. Yes. And I am doing good. I feel good health-wise, mental-wise. I feel good. There's things that still exist that's not so good, but I'm thinking above that I know God is able to clear me or whatever, but I feel good.
Hey,
Amen.
now. Hey, Miss Susu feels good. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, I see in the chat. Hey, Sister Lorena's here. Good morning. Good afternoon. She was the one that corrected me on that time difference before. Sister Lorena, go ahead and check in, please.
God bless you, everyone. I don't have much to say. Just keep me in your prayers. I'm here. I'm aware. I just got a lot going on, but I'm here.
And I'm so glad that you're here. And today's lesson, our topic of conversation, may be just what we need to get from where we're going, where we've been to where we're going. Remember, change is ahead, but we make those change steps every day of our life. So I have a quote for you. Our quote today comes from, let's get my notes again. Our quote comes today from a 20th century German poet. And that poet name is Rainier Maria Rilke. And I may be messing that last name up, so please forgive me. But it's called No Feeling is Final. I want to say it again. No feeling is final. Someone take a stab at that. What does that mean to you? When you hear that quote, how does that interpret in your heart and mind? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
For me, it means it's temporary. The feeling is just this too shall pass.
Yes.
And it's just a feeling. That's all it is. I'm not gonna feel like this forever. And it's a season as well.
Ooh, nailed it. I think the same thing. I feel the same interpretation as you. Anyone else have maybe a different interpretation, maybe something that's worded differently? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share. What does it mean to you?
I say the same thing as I said, it's just not forever. It's just like when you put a Band-Aid over something, it's gonna heal, it's gonna go away. But that's saying the same thing though, but it's not forever. It's
Not
just,
forever.
as you said, for a moment. And I
Yeah.
can get through with this. Temporary.
Awesome. Absolutely. It sounds like we're all on one accord here. When we're starting from point A and getting to point B, we'll find a lot of different feelings, experiences, emotions. We'll find a lot of different things that we experience internally. And sometimes we have to beware, because if we act out on everything that we feel internally, we will mess up our external goals. We will mess up our external plan. So one thing we want to do is find out, how can I cope through these temporary feelings? How can I cope when things aren't going well, when things are topsy-turvy? And even though cognitively I know that it's only for a little while, but at the same time, I'm feeling what I'm feeling and it feels overwhelming. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about when those feelings are just overwhelming and we're experiencing maybe some emotional pain. Sometimes that emotional pain leads us to feeling the triggers. We talked about triggers yesterday. Sometimes those triggers cause us to be moved. Internal triggers, external triggers, they cause us to move into a realm that we don't want to go, because it's a brain association. It's an automatic recall. Your brain sees things, it feels things. We've talked a lot on this week about things, how to handle us, because in this life, we're going to experience a lot of different situations, and they're going to bring about a lot of different changes in our moods and our feelings and our emotions. And we all know that our emotions and the thoughts that we think, they all motivate our next behavioral steps, what we're doing, where we're going. So one of the things that we want to do in order to stick to the path, we want to be able to cope with our overwhelming feelings. We want to be able to cope with our drug triggers. We want to be able to cope with our feelings of anger and rage. We want to be able to cope with our abilities to stay balanced. We want to be able to leave those unhealthy behaviors behind us. We want them to be way back there so that we can move on into our change that's ahead. Excuse me, it's a little hot in the studio, but I am determined to share this information with you, because this information can change our lives. We've talked about on this week, just for a quick recap, for maybe those of you that haven't been here or wasn't able to make the whole week. I want to say on day one, we talked about more compassionate self-talk. We talked about the difference between punishing ourselves and checking ourselves and doing those sorts of things versus having an open, non-judgmental view of what's the behavior that we're so unsatisfied with and how can we make it better. Learning, using it as a teaching moment, and having a compassionate view and saying, you know what, Andrea, You know, I did that. I wasn't pleased with how that went down. But let's see what happened. What was I feeling at the moment? Was I depriving myself? Was I hungry? Was I PMSing? You know, should I have eaten that morning? You know, maybe I need to consider who my company is. You know, seemed like I was triggered in some ways that I'm normally not. So maybe I need to consider my company. Maybe I need to consider if I was in a lot of pain. Was it the anniversary of my loved one's death? Maybe I have to figure out what happened in order to change it. So I can't just be hard on myself and continue to have harsh self-talk. You jerk, you a dumb. Why did you do that? Oh my God, girl, you have no sense in the world. You know that harsh talk we say to ourselves. We want to stop that, and we want to take a more compassionate view, a more non-judgmental view, because guess what? Let me remind you of something. You're human. We're all subject to mistakes. We're all subject to repeat mistakes. So guess what? Let's learn from our mistakes by taking that compassionate view and go ahead and having some compassionate self-talk with ourselves and learn from the situation so we know what to do or not to do next time. Then we talked about healthy boundaries. Oh, wow. We had a wonderful conversation with the boundaries. Some boundaries we go in too close. Some boundaries we push back too far. We don't let people know us. We don't connect with the world. Sometimes we're too close. We give. We don't give a person a chance to even ask sometimes because we're right there. We're giving. We're too enmeshed. We're too involved. We find that our boundaries should be flexible. I need to be able to be distant when I need to be distant, and I need to be able to be very close when I need to be. Then we found that our boundaries also, they need to make sure that we're safe. My boundaries must be safe. I'm not going to be involved in a relationship just because, and it's dangerous to me. I'm not going to be involved in toxicity and just because I just want to, because it's dangerous to me. So my boundaries have to be flexible, and they also have to be safe, where they put me in safety. My boundaries are mine. Somebody says, hey, would you like to use drugs? I really like that person. Or I'm thinking, I view them as an authoritative figure in my life, or any of those things. I might have mad respect for that person. But guess what? If that person offers me drugs, I have to find it within myself to gain a stronger boundary. Respect my boundary. I have to first respect my boundary so I can teach others to respect my boundary. And I can say no, and please don't bring that around me again. Next time you ask or offer, I'm going to say no, and our relationship is going to be over. Because what? I value myself first. I'm not bleeding the lines. I'm not people pleasing or just saying yes. But at the same time, I'm not rushing people out of my life quickly. I'm giving them a chance. So I know how to be flexible, but I know how to be safe. But also our boundaries need to be connected. We need to stay connected with the world. We find that sometimes our unhealthy boundaries bring us to a place where we're isolated. We don't want to do anything. Please, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to see daylight. I don't want to go here. I don't want to be a part of that. The family is like, come on over. Whether you have spiritual family, natural, biological family, play family, God family, you know how we gather people together and we just love on each other. And they're drawing us in. Come on out and share in these healthy places. But no, we don't want to because we've disconnected. That's an unhealthy boundary. And sometimes it's the response of an unhealthy boundary. So we want to identify our boundaries today. We also talked about triggers, external triggers as well as internal triggers. Internal triggers being that emotional stuff, that stuff that we're going to be dealing with today. We're going to deal with that emotional pain that comes up, that when you feel criticized, when you feel happy, when you feel overconfident, you feel on top of the world. We want to identify what can we do with these things? What can we do? Because as we know, one feeling of depression, one feeling of sadness, one feeling of being overconfident, one feeling of being misjudged, when you feel pressed, when you're overwhelmed, that feeling can send you right back into a relapse. Whatever behavior that's unhealthy that you're trying to discontinue, anger, enabling, sex and promiscuous sex, unhealthy sex, drugs, alcohol, gambling, whatever it is that you're trying to overcome, guess what? Those things can trigger you. Those internal triggers can trigger you right back. It can trigger you right back. Remember, we talked about the trigger. You experience the trigger. Then it creates a what? It creates a thought. So a man thinketh, so is he. That thought begins to trigger a response, whether it's a craving, whether it's a desire, whether it's a push to go and relapse, go and do the very things that you don't want to do anymore, to go off on somebody, go use, whatever it is. So we talked about those triggers, some of those external triggers. Some of those external triggers are friends. Some of those external triggers are those old associates. Some of those external triggers are freeway signs, the freeway sign that your brain associates with that activity or that behavior. Another one could be, being at work or on a lunch break, or being off work on Friday night, just got paid. Those things can be triggers, so those same triggers, be it internal or external, can move us into a different place. Then today, we're going to talk about, yesterday we talked about breaking the cycle. How do we break that cycle? We talked about thought stopping. Oh, thank you for the reminder, because that's very important. It's very important that we understand that the only way that we break these behaviors that we've been doing for so many years, these things that's engraved in our brain, these things, because see, behind the skull, behind face, we can't see what's going on, how this brain is made. But I'm so grateful that research have shown us, and studies and doctors have shown us how the brain works. So now we have to learn how to manipulate the brain sometimes in order to get a better response. So we found out breaking the cycle. For one, when the thought comes, because we find out that trigger, thought, craving, relapse cycle that happens in our brain without us even thinking about it, it's automatic. It happens in our brain automatically. When that happens, we begin to identify, for one, that we're back in that place. But let me tell you, before we get back in that place, there's a whole cycle of events that's happened unbeknown to us, but we identify that we can break that cycle. But the best place to break that cycle is at the thought. So we talked about some thought stopping techniques. We thought about some techniques that we can do to stop the thought so that it won't go into craving, so that it don't go into a desire, so that it don't go into automatic mode. So we've had so much to talk about: visualization, snapping, calling somebody. We talked about things where we can stop those thoughts from proceeding on to that cycle of relapsing in those behaviors. So today, again, in order to cope, we have to learn and identify that coping is one thing that we have to be able to have right there in our safety belt. When a construction worker goes on a job, he has a safety belt on, because guess what? Once he gets on that house or up that ladder, he can't come down for his tools every time he needs it. He has to put his belt on and have his tools there with him. So one thing that we're going to identify is, what tool do we need as we go from where we've been to where we're going? So today we're going to talk about grounding. It's a technique called grounding. I want to ask, is anybody familiar with that technique? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Anyone? All right, all right. Well, this is going to be new manna to everyone. So I have my notes here that I would like to share with you. Grounding is an exercise that you do when you're experiencing emotional pain, when you're experiencing the feelings of trauma, when you're experiencing those past traumatic experiences. It's when you're having a drug crave. It's when you're feeling impulsive. You want to do something that you know you shouldn't do, when you're about to go into rage. It's that when you feel that emotional pain, when you feel that emotions build up, I want you to know that at that time, this is a time that you need to practice your grounding exercises. You may say, you know what, Andrea, I can't, because I noticed that a lot of those feelings come up for me when I'm at the job, or when I'm out and about, when I'm dealing with my child's school, or when I'm dealing with my child. A lot of those things happen then. So what we find is that it is better for us to do grounding, not because we're about to get up and start doing jumping jacks or anything, but what we find is what we're going to do is we're going to do the grounding exercises from within. Grounding exercises is an exercise that we have to do from within. Within means inside of our internal self. Because guess what? I may not be able to stop and call somebody for help. I may not be able to say, hey, Bianca, guess what? I'm going through something. I need to talk it out. Or I may not be able to say, hey, Miss Susu, how you doing? I'm just calling to check in so I can distract my mind. So sometimes we have to find ways to distract ourselves internally. And that's what grounding is. Grounding is an exercise to center yourself when you're feeling some kind of way. I like to use this example. For those of you that come from the drug and alcohol behaviors, one thing that we find is that there's certain things we see, and maybe there's certain things that we hear, and there's certain feelings that we have that kind of move us into a drug crave, possibly. Let's say this: a young lady is on the bus. She's sitting there. She's having a great day. She's on her way to her job interview. You know what? This is her second job interview. They called her back, so she's feeling really good. But all of a sudden, her old drug dealer gets on the bus. Oh my God. So now it's not that you happy to see him. It's not that you angry to see him, but because that person associates with a behavior and a behavior and a lifestyle that you once had, that you're moving out of, guess what? Your body, your mind, your emotional state has an automatic response. Again, just like the funeral services, if you hear a certain song that was played, all of a sudden your brain association will take you to a place 30 years ago when you were at your loved one's service. All of a sudden you're sad, you're crying, you shut down for the day, you can't get over it. Maybe you're walking down the street and you smell a cologne. You're not sniffing around at people, but you smell a cologne, and that cologne just automatically jars you to someone. Maybe that someone was a pleasant someone that puts a smile on your face, but maybe that someone was someone that was evil or just mean to you. But there's a trigger, and internally you feel it. You feel it. Not that I'm feeling the pain right now, not that I'm going through it right now, but what's happening is I feel right now I've been triggered, or something has happened that have brought me into this emotional distress. So what can I do about it? Well, I'm going to practice grounding. I'm going to practice grounding. There are ways that we practice grounding, and don't nobody got to know what you're doing. Ain't that something? You can be doing it right there, sitting in the classroom. You can be sitting in court full of fear, but you start grounding because I got to cope through this moment. I got to make it because I know where I've started, but I got to get to the change ahead. So I'm going to practice this grounding exercise. Now, let me give you some guidelines. When you're grounding, this isn't the time to journal. I know I've told you journaling is great, but not for this exercise. This exercise is to rescue you from that emotional pain, to help you not make a stupid decision, if I may say that, while you're going through the bridge of change, so that you don't go back to those old compulsive, unhealthy behaviors while you're on your road to change? Have you ever experienced life whereas you were doing so good in your life change, you were doing so great, and then all of a sudden, one moment caused you to go back? You ruined your sobriety. You ruined your recovery. You got back up. You brushed it off. You got over it. But what did you have to suffer? What did it cost you? Everything cost us. Relapse cost us. So we're going to learn today how to try to cope with those moments so that we don't always have to pay that cost, but that we can continue on that bridge and continue into our change that's ahead. So our guidelines, what are the things about grounding? This is not the time to journal. It's not time to process it out. You're just rescuing yourself from that moment. When you get into your place of safety, then you can sit down and say, oh my God, what just happened? Oh my Lord. Oh, let me journal my feelings about that. But that's after you're out of that danger zone. You're out of that emotional distress. So while you're in it, this isn't the time to try to process what happened. This isn't the time to try to make sense of why am I feeling this way? This isn't the time to try to journal what happened. This isn't the time. One thing I want you to know is that you are going to be doing this exercise within yourself and by yourself. So therefore, you don't have to worry about anyone else knowing what you're doing. This isn't time to try to process things out. This isn't time. This exercise is to rescue you from emotional pain, that emotional distress, that feelings of being overwhelmed. This is the time that you're trying to rescue yourself and ground yourself. You're recentering yourself into a place whereas you will be okay. I see that we just had someone else join us. Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna go ahead and skip your check-in. We'll hear from you a little later. We're gonna go ahead and get right into this grounding. Now, I wanna tell you there's 3 different methods of grounding. There is the mental grounding, there's the physical grounding, and there's the soothing grounding. And you might be saying, what? But I'm gonna tell you what those things mean. As I'm looking at my notes, I wanna say these ways of grounding will definitely help us in those overwhelming times. So mental grounding, I have a few notes that I wanna suggest to you. So again, let's say that you're confronted with your ex. You're confronted with your ex and their new boo, and you're starting to feel some kind of way. You're starting to tear down. You're already ready to grab them by the throat and take a Superman catapult and just drop them into the deepest part of the ocean. Okay. No feeling is final. No feeling is final. Let's remember. So what can we do? Well, let's deal with mental grounding first. When we're grounding mentally, there are some things that we can think of, remember, to distract ourselves from our situation, from what we're feeling internally, until we get into a safe place to process that out. You're on the bus, you see a drug dealer, you're having all kind of cravings now. Now is the time that I need to mental ground so that I can remove myself from that pain and now ground right now, center myself in the here and now, not where that pain takes me. Remember, with grounding, don't look within. This isn't the time to look within and try to process and analyze what we're going through. This is a time to look without, look around. So when we're doing our mental grounding, some of the suggestions that I have for you, you can play a categories game with yourself. So while you're sitting there in the courtroom, shaking like a leaf on a tree, you're afraid of what your future holds. You're sweating bullets, but guess what? It's not your time at the court. So I have to be able to maintain so that I don't run out the door and get a failure to appear. So what can I do? I can sit there while I wait, and I can play a categories game. I can start thinking about dogs. What kind of dogs are there? They're collier dogs. There's pet bulls. What kind of dogs are they? They have Akitas, there's poodles, Chihuahuas. You can start putting them in order in your head. Go by the alphabet. A is for maybe alpha dog. B is for maybe a black dog. C is for Chihuahua. D is for, and really engage in that thought process. Or like the kids do in the car when you're going on a trip. They start calling out titles of cars. Well, in my car, there's a Tesla. I call that Tesla. I call that Buick. Well, they don't call Buicks. They're called Porsches, Teslas, and all this, that, and the other stuff that I can't say. But I can't even pronounce it. But a Lamborghini. He always say I say that wrong. But here it is. You can do that category game in your head. You know, think about dogs. Think about jazz musicians. Think about cars. What about writers of your favorite books or songs that you like to sing in your head? Think about the good old songs from the 90s. And remember, we're really going to engage in that. Ooh, let's see. In the 90s, what was my favorite song? Now that we found love, what are we? Ooh, who was that? Who was that? Ooh, and what was the next song that they made? Oh, okay. And remember this, that, and the other, and get engaged in the categories game. Maybe you want to do a progression game. Maybe you want to go all the way back. Remembering, I remember when I was 10 years old. What did I do when I was 10? I was in the 5th grade. Oh, I went to that school. I went to Woodcrest. Oh, I had such a good time. Who was my favorite teacher? And then maybe go to age 11, maybe to age 12. Just progress slowly until you get to where you are. Because what are you doing? You're detaching. You're doing a safe distraction from your internal pain, your internal emotional pain. Another one that you could do, maybe you can describe some everyday activities that you do. Oh, well, I need to cook dinner. So what I'm going to do is when I get home, I'm going to go in the pantry. I'm going to get those yellow potatoes. Those yellow potatoes, oh, let me see if there's any spores on them. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. I'm going to wash them real good. I'm going to cut them into fours. What else? I'm going to put them in the pot and put some water and put them on boil. And I'm speeding because of time, but I want you guys to practice doing this and do it slowly because you're not in a rush. Remember, you're trying to progress away from that emotional pain. So you're not speeding through it. You're not trying to hurry up and get past it, but you're trying to identify what is it that I need to do. Also, you're looking at that dinner that you need to cook. Oh, you know what? I may have to stop at the store and get some herbs and spices because I'm gonna make a nice rich marinade. Or, then I'm gonna get some lasagna. I'm gonna put the lasagna on, So you want to be able to take this slow. What am I going to do? What's my favorite recipe? What's my family's favorite recipe? And I'm going to walk that out in my head because what I'm doing is I'm not trying to remember the recipe. I'm distracting myself from that emotional pain. When I'm feeling inadequate, when I'm feeling triggered, when I'm feeling like doing my unhealthy compulsive behaviors, whatever your behaviors are, enabling, drug use, alcohol use, shutting down, anger, doing other unhealthy things, promiscuous sex, unprotected sex. These things are unhealthy behaviors that we want to change in our life so that we can live healthier lives. We have a goal. We have a plan. History have showed us that don't work for you. It don't work for you as who you are. You want to walk in your purpose. You want to walk in your greatness. And that old way is hindering you. So therefore, rather than allowing it to continue to dominate us, we're going to dominate it. So another thing that we could do is imagine you on on a skateboard or some or if you're on a skateboard, if you're on skates, just imagine yourself skating away from that pain, skating away from it. So we want to identify these things and we want to make sure that we can process and cope with the moments so that we can be secure. And then when we move out, then we can identify what just happened here. So I want to ask you guys, someone please put close your screen. on the Samsung SM. Thank you so much. We want to make sure that your confidentiality is adhered to, because these recordings will be applied to our subscription, and people all over the world will be able to get this information that we're talking about today. But I want to keep your anonymity secure and safe, because your confidentiality matters to me. So let's please keep our video cameras off, and your mute cameras, turn them on when you're ready to share, and then back off when you're complete. So we want to find some ways mentally. What can I think about? What can I think about and process to get me away, to distract me from emotional pain? I want to go ahead and ask someone to take a stab at this. What's something that you can think about to remove you? And I mean something where you have to process your way through, something that you have to dive into in your thoughts, so that you can control and distract yourself and center yourself away from that emotional distress that you're experiencing. Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Bianca.
And I'm gonna say, please excuse my background noise
No problem.
ahead of time. I was trying to get my phone off a little earlier concerning the grounding techniques. I have tried that. Also, I remember it was a time where I was out, and I got a little anxiety and things like that, became a little overwhelmed. And so I had went out to eat with a few family members, and it was very uncomfortable. Not so much that I was with them, but uncomfortable because I wasn't with who I'm usually with.
Okay.
And so I was sitting there and I could feel the anxiety rising up, and I was like, ooh, and some thoughts started coming through my head. But then I remember the grounding. So what I did was I started counting like the little squares like on the wall.
Okay.
So I took my time and just started counting the little squares that was on the wall. And then, I would move like to the silverware on the table.
Come on now.
So the settings, the cheers. So it kind of like, took my mind off of what I was feeling, and, with the anxiety and the what ifs and what could happen that didn't happen anyway. But all of that. But yeah, I have tried that before, and I have used like just counting things.
Okay.
Being in a place of just sitting there and just counting, like I said, the squares and the silverware and the glasses and different things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. That's a perfect example of grounding. Thank you for that, Bianca. Thank you. Anybody else? Have you practiced grounding? I know earlier no one said that they actually practice grounding, but maybe you didn't hear me or didn't get your phone off mute in time. If you've practiced grounding, let me know. And if you have not, what's a form of mental grounding can you do to detach from emotional pain? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Hi, Susu. Well, I did that also, as well as Pastor Al's, anyway, the former caller was saying. But then I didn't know it was grounded or not, but I know at times, like when I cook or I count my pieces of meat, just unawarely, I count the piece of meat, and sometimes not really the beans, but, I count things also, not knowing that I'm taking my mind off of something else, or it's called grounding. But I don't know. I hadn't heard that before, but that is a form of distraction, to whatever may be going on,
Yes.
So yeah, I got that. I get it. Shoot. Like you say, counting this, what they call the towel on the floor or something. But like I said, I didn't know that was what it was called or anything. They even aware that I was doing that, but it will take your mind off of whatever may be going on.
Yes.
That's what I have to say. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Susu. It's a practice that we use when we're in that emotional pain. So now that you notice that you already do it, let's practice it. You shared what your compulsive behavior was on yesterday. And so now you can use that when you are triggered to operate in that old behavior. You can stop right then and there and distract yourself, when you have the emotional pain of stressing, over someone, or you have that emotional pain where you have an anxiety to want to go and do for someone. And instead, now you can take what you're already doing, counting the pieces of meat, maybe even counting the beans this time, but you're taking your mental state and you're mentally throwing that energy in another process that's detaching you from that current emotional distress. Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What can we do to mentally ground?
Hi, this is Miss Grace.
Hey, Miss Grace.
Good afternoon, everyone. What I do now, and I found it helpful, I start downloading games on my phone. I have the Bible trivia. I have coloring on the Bible. They got people in the Bible. You take your time. I color by paint.
Yeah.
And that's so I do. I find myself doing that a lot of trivia games on the phone, which is they give you different categories like food, or or pictures, animated cartoon characters or whatever. But it takes my mind off of what I might have been thinking about. I wanted to do. So I find myself, and it's spending a lot of time on it because, like with the Bible trivia, it makes you think, and you're still in your word too.
Yes.
So that's why I go. Then if I get tired of that, then I go do the painting, painting by colors and stuff. And I do find characters and different things of the Bible and start painting that. And before I know it, I done spent hours doing that, and I completely forgot about what I wanted to do or what was making me angry.
Yes.
Or something that just came up and is hurting me, to the point where I was getting frustrated, or whatever that caused me to have triggers. So that's what I do. I find a lot of different games on my phone, not those little crazy games, but games like the trivia, Bible trivia, find the word, match the word, or they have one that's like, what is the correct spelling? Something to make you think. Outside of the box.
That brain. Oh, that's awesome.
That's what I do.
Awesome. That's excellent. They say coloring is very therapeutic. Art in itself is very therapeutic. So I like how you talk about that. She throw herself into a game, but a game that's challenging her brain and also edifying her soul, because a Bible game keeps you in the Bible, answering the questions of the Bible. So that's great. You got a 3 for 1. That's excellent. Anybody else? What can you do, or what do you do for mental grounding?
God bless you. This is Sister Lorena.
Hey, Sister Lorena.
So for myself, this is something I have to do continually.
Okay.
So I have to be aware of the present moment.
Okay.
And just in that awareness, because I do a lot of processing, especially writing.
Okay.
That I do with my sponsor and assignments and whatnot. So I have to process everything that I have been through and be aware of the present moment when feelings arise, when thoughts arise. I visualize a safe place.
Okay.
So I use both awareness of the present moment and visualization of a safe place for me.
I like that.
And for me, that's just in the arms of Jesus.
Ooh,
so I have to be aware of the present moment, though, that I'm not where my feelings are at. That's not where I'm at.
Yes.
So along with the visualization, and I'm able to come and be grounded once again.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. I love that. And I just share because I want everyone to understanding that I'm not where my feelings are. If I'm triggered by something that happened years ago, or I'm triggered by something that happened and my feelings about it, guess what? I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm in my safe place. I love that. My awareness, I'm aware that I'm safe. I'm secure. My feet are right here on the ground. I am safe. Therefore, I can put myself in that safe place in the arms of Jesus. I love that. Thank you so much, Sister Lorena. Anybody else? Mental grounding, mental grounding. This is a technique that we should practice. I like how Lorena say, I practice it all the time, because in life, all sorts of situations, triggers, responses to triggers, emotional distress, emotional pain. We get feelings when somebody say no to us, or when somebody say yes, or they try to move us out of our path, and now I'm feeling some kind of way, as we call it. Now what do I do? What can I do? Because I got to survive this moment. Well, I got to realize that I'm not there. Like Lorena said, I'm not there where my pain is. And also, I'm not my pain. I'm not my pain. So therefore, yes, that happened. And I have an emotional response to it, but it's not my whole being. There's a part of me that still wants to move forward on this change that's ahead of me, this bridge that's taking me from where I was to where I'm going. So what else can we do for mental grounding? Maybe one more.
Hi, Sister Lupe.
Hey, Sister.
God bless you. For me, like Lorena was saying, I can't really distract myself. I just gotta get. I have to. Well, for me, I have to just be aware of what's going on and face things head on. But what helps me to stay grounded is the same, just whatever situation I'm going through, whatever news I receive, I just gotta, I try to look at the brighter side of it. I try to look at the positive, and everything. I tell myself it's for the good. It's for the good. It's for the good. It's for the good. And that's what helps me when we're trying to find a solution, or trying to be acceptance of that. And knowing that if I feel some type of way, this feeling is not forever. This is just temporary. I'm not gonna feel like this forever.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Excellent. Perfect. And remember, guys, grounding is not a way of life. It's just a rescue technique to rescue me from the moment so that I can get to that safe place, or I can start writing down or even thinking what just happened. So excellent. Thank you so much, Sister Lupe. I love that. I love that. I have to, she looks at the brighter side. Okay, I'm going to distract myself from the pain of that, the emotional pain of that, by seeing beyond it. I'm going to see beyond it. There's a brighter day. There's good on the other side of this. And I'm going to continue to share that. I'm going to concentrate on that. I'm going to focus on that until I'm out of that distress. And when I'm in safety, then I can say, oh my God, what just happened? How can I compassionately self-talk to identify what just happened? Perfect. Thank you, Sister Lupe. Now, let's go to physical. Let's go to physical grounding. I'm going to take a look at my notes. Sometimes a way that we can physically ground is just by even running our hand under cool water. Running your hand, feeling the water. This is a physical touch of the water, a physical touch. Sometimes if you have things in front of you, I'm reminded of an interview that I went on, and I was nervous, of course, but I was confident. But I was noticing the interviewer, and the interviewer just kept touching things. He touched the pen, they touched this, they touched that, they touched this. And I was like, what is he doing? But I realized today that he possibly may have been grounding, because physically grounding is sometimes touching things, feeling different textures. Let's place our phone on mute. Thank you so much. Thank you and welcome.
Sister Lupe again, calling you from my other phone.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. So we find that sometimes just touching things, being focused on the touch, rather than the emotional pain. Running our hands under cool water is one of them. Grabbing tightly to our chair, grounding our heels in the floor. Realize I'm in the here and now. I like how Sister Lorena said that. I'm not over there where my pain is. I'm in the here and now, where I'm in control, where I'm safe, where I have gone beyond those triggers. I've gone beyond that emotional pain. I'm in the here and now. I'm the young man or the young woman that's strong in nature. I'm confident. I'm who I am today. And begin to remind yourself of that. Hold on to that chair. Realize where I am. I'm in the here and now. Another thing that we can do is carry a grounding object. This is what I love. Carrying a grounding object. Sometimes in 12 steps, the 12-step recovery support system, they give out chips. You know, when you've had 30 days of you've been abstinent from that behavior, you're walking in your recovery, they give you a chip to acknowledge how far you've come. And what I suggest to a lot of my people in recovery that's familiar with that supportive lifestyle of AA is to take that chip and use it as your grounding. You know, make it your grounding object. Put it in your pocket. So guess what? When you're facing that emotional pain, you can just put your hand in your pocket and hold on to your chip and let that resonate in your head. I've come a long way. I am beyond this. I know how to walk away now. I have techniques in place. I am covered in the blood. I am well. You know, I am who I am. Let that grounding object speak for you. Or you can have a picture in your pocket of somebody that didn't make it this far, somebody that died in their disease, somebody that maybe it hurts your heart that was their course. But guess what? That's your reminder that you don't want it to be your course. So you can have that picture in your pocket to look at. These are physical things that you can do to ground. You know, the serenity prayer, you can buy the serenity prayer on a coin, or you can have a special quarter with your birthday on it. Whatever the significance of that coin is, you're going to hold on to that as your grounding object, because this has sentimental value to me. It has a significant value to me. No one even knows what you're doing, but you're holding on to that thing in your pocket, or you're just looking in your purse and you're looking for your grounding object. Maybe your grounding object is a pigeon feather, you know, that you found on the ground where you received your recovery, you know, where you were, or where you received your consequence, you know, when it took you to jail and they broke up your family, you know, because of that behavior that you're trying to get rid of, where that person that you've been enabling for years, where that person died because they never got the process, because we kept keeping them from that process that would have led to their progress. I like how Bianca said that on yesterday. But I want to say those objects that have a significance in our hearts and minds that we can hold on to in that time of distress, emotional pain, when depression is trying to take over us. Another thing that we can do is stretch. We can stretch. Take a moment to feel your muscles. Take a moment to stretch. Take a moment to release the tension. Clench your fist. Oh, just clench it and let it go. Clench it and let it go. These are things we can do physically. You know, even your toes, when you have closed-toe shoes on, or even when you have on sandals, you can clench your toes because you're releasing that pressure. You're focusing your energy and your attention on something other than that temporary emotional pain. No feeling is final. Remember that from the beginning of our class today, our group today. No feeling is final. You can get through this. People don't have to dislike you. You don't have to dislike people. I just have to learn how to cope in it. And then I can progress on with the rest of my life. So I'd like to hear from you. What are some things that you can do physically that would help you to physically ground? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
God bless you. This is Sister Lorena.
Hey, Sister Lorena.
I usually hold my own hand. So you catch me holding my hands or rubbing my hand or my legs, like right where my knees are at.
Okay.
On my legs.
I
That's
love it.
physical grounding.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Just hold her own hand. I love that. Thank you so much. Was someone else trying to say something as well?
Yes, it
Mhm.
was me. I usually like tap my fingers, with I don't know how to explain it, but I go from each finger with my thumb,
Like this?
the fingertips,
Like
each
this?
one with my thumb, forwards, backwards, different things. Let me see.
Yeah,
Yes.
your playback speed changed. Sound like you had a drink.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we hear you like this. Maybe it's your Wi-Fi, but we can still hear you. Please share.
Hello?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah, you're back up to speed now. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's like tapping my fingertips with my thumb from the pinky to the index finger, from the index finger to the pinky.
Like
So
this?
that's one of the things that I could do.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. So yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
That is something physical that you can do. Touching your legs, doing, like you said, it's hard to explain, but just touching it, tapping every fingertip with your thumb. That's something that you can do. And no one knows what you're doing. You're processing yourself out of a place. Thank you for that. Anyone else?
Yes, this is Grace again.
Hey,
For
Grace.
me, like touching any part of my body is like chronic to me, chronic pain.
Okay.
So what I do, and I find it helpful for me, and it's not that I mean everybody can do that. I go to the beach where the
Okay.
waves hit up against the rocks and the water hits my face, and it
Mhm.
just takes me to another place. And I always think about how Jesus did with the disciples. He took them to the edge of the beach at the shoreline, and he
Mhm.
spoke with them. So it takes me out of the mental state that I'm in. It takes me, and I just feel the breeze and I feel the water, and that
Okay.
helps my mental state to be calm. Because, like I said, it takes me out of one place and puts me in another place. And then when I'm focused on that place where I am, I feel much better when I leave that place, which I love to go to the beach to do that.
Mhm.
And just feel the air, smell the seawater. And
Mhm.
it's just that's soothing to me. And it takes me, takes me out of that mental state from the anger. Like you say, nothing, your situation is not, your feelings is not final.
Final.
So, so
Absolutely.
right. So I find myself doing that a lot, or either just taking, like I say, or either taking a pen and writing, like I said, pick up something, and I write my thoughts down, what
Mhm.
is going on, and then it takes me away as well. So that's how I cope. I mean, it could be some other ways, but that's how I find for right now my
Mhm.
way of coping with things like that.
Awesome. That is great. That's great. I want to ask you also, because remember, with this grounding exercise, it's not about coping with life. It's not that kind of coping. Everything you just said was perfect and wonderful. Coping with my day-to-day challenges and things like that. So that was perfect. But I want to remind you guys that this exercise is specifically for that sudden emotional distress. What do I do to cope through this moment? Like I heard, I think Sister Lupe said, when I receive some bad news, when I get a call, maybe I was just sitting there and I was journaling and I was trying to find maybe a good way to process through life. And now this phone call came and said, oh, we're going to send you an eviction notice. We haven't received a payment from you and forever. We're going to send you an eviction notice. So I know that I got to deal with that. I got to deal with it. but at the same time, how do I deal with the emotional distress? I have to have a right now, immediate way to deal with the emotional stress, something that I can do right now. And even though journaling is good, but not for the purpose by which we're doing this exercise. This exercise is to help us get from that place where we're emotionally distressed, where we're feeling the drug trigger, when we're feeling the anger right here and now, when I don't have time to get in my car and go to the beach to feel the water on my face. I love that you have a safe place to go to, that you can kind of cope with life, but in that urgent, right now, immediate moment, what can I do? Maybe even like, I believe having that safe place that you have, the beach, maybe at that point, you can do some mental grounding and imagine yourself at the beach, because that is your safe place. That is the place that you go. That is the place that you process. So maybe I have to, since I can't get to that place in this distressive moment right now, I can imagine myself at the beach. I can hear the waves, and I think that there's an app on the phone that gives you those sound waves. I can put that on for a minute if I have my smartphone with me, or go on YouTube and play some sound waves of the waters, if that's what's going to rescue me. So those are all wonderful, but what is it that you can do to bring the beach to you, Miss Grace?
Well, right now is I'm glad you said that, because something did happen. It was
Okay.
a right now thing. I went out, I have my car is disabled right now, so I was unable to get it from one side of the street to the other.
Mhm.
And so instead of them giving me a ticket, I think someone called in on the car. I got a notice on the car saying they got, I have 72 hours to move it, or they're going to impound it.
Oh
Now, see,
my.
that's a right, yeah, that's
That's a right now
thing.
thing, yes.
Right. And so I was still trying to see how I was going to process that, because I still can't move the car. I have no place to put it. I have nowhere, no garage to put it in. So I just like took the notice off. I read it, I processed it, and I just left that place where I was at. I just went away.
Okay.
But it's still there. So I
Right.
still have to deal with it, but I just
Right.
don't know how to deal with it right now. So I put it out of sight, out of mind, but that's not the way I'm dealing with some. I'm listening, because this is a right now thing for
Right.
me. So
Right. Right.
I'm still trying to cope, but I just walked away from it. Like, it's like, I can't do anything about it. It's out of my hands. So for right now, if I can't change the situation, then it's nothing I can do about it. And it's sometimes it gets stressful to me, but I'm trying to learn to let the stress go. If I can't do nothing about it, there's only other loose solution is to put it in God's hand, because I can't change this situation right now.
Okay.
It's nothing I can touch or feel. I'm gonna touch the car, I ain't gonna make it move. But
That's
so
a perfect example.
I just took the notice off, and I looked at it, and I left. I'm like, okay, well, I thought about all the options, and I was like, this is my investment. This is a part of my business. So it's like, how do I deal with that? It's like I'm just getting my business up, and here's like somebody trying to snatch it away from me. So that's a right now thing to deal with, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I'm not going to focus on it and stay in that place, because if I do, then I add stress onto myself, worry, then anxiety come in, and then I'm frustrated all over again, and I'm mad and still can't do anything about it. So I don't know what to do. But right now, I'm not going to let that bother me, because I can't do anything about it.
Okay. And I'm going to use that example just to kind of highlight what grounding is for and where it's best used. When you walked outside and you saw that ticket or that notice on your car, and there's an immediate feeling that you get, what the heck? or whatever it is that happens inside. You start feeling hopeless. Oh, I got a ticket again. Oh, it's a warning. It's a notice saying that I got to do this, that, and the other. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, yeah. That feeling right there, that emotional distress. Now, right there, we're not creating a solution, but we're rescuing ourselves, because it's those internal triggers, that emotional distress right there, that can cause you to just throw that ticket or that warning up and go and get a drink or go and do whatever compulsive behavior that we're trying to move away from. But in order to continue on the path of change, you said, I took it, I felt what I felt, but what I did, I took a walk. I walked away. I walked away. So what that does, it gives me the opportunity to now kind of cope with what I'm feeling, detach from that pain. And then when I get in that safe place where I'm not about to go and use, I'm not about to go cuss nobody out, I'm not going to go and withdraw, so I'm not making a decision off my feelings. It gives me that time to detach from my emotional pain for the moment, to get myself to that safe place, and then sit down and think of a solution. Because you have solutions, but we cannot identify those solutions when we're in the midst of our emotional distress. So I like that. You went, you saw it, oh man, but you took it and you took a walk. You took a walk. Let me walk off this emotional distress, so now I can go sit down and think of a solution. So thank you so much for sharing that right now situation. And I know that by the end of the day or tomorrow, before those 72 hours up, you would have thought of a solution. But guess what? If we operate in our old behaviors, then we will not think of a solution, because we'll go right back to doing what we used to do. We'll continue the cycle of those unhealthy behaviors, and things don't get taken care of. So thank you for letting us use your right now situation. Thank you. Anybody else before we go into soothing?
I thought it was something, may sound crazy or Susu.
Go ahead.
Like the cartoon, go down the hill and give a good scream, a good holler, just release it right then and come on back up. You're okay for that moment. Then
Yes,
figure it out later. Just
that's a
release that
good
stress
one.
and tension. Okay.
That's a good one. Whenever you can do that without drawing attention to yourself. Because if you're in the midst of this emotional distress and all of a sudden you're in the court building,
5150.
yes, you may be arrested or detained. But yes, if it's possible, because we're looking for ways internally when we're in those situations. When I'm at the job and the boss is telling me that I'm about to decrease your pay, when I'm at court and I'm being wrongly accused, when I'm faced with one of my drug triggers, when that emotional stuff comes up, what am I going to do to stay in my change, to stay on the bridge of change, so that I don't relapse and go back to where I come from with my behaviors? Because there are behaviors that we've identified that are not healthy for us anymore, but they're so routine in our life, they're easy to fall back into. It's easy to go pick up. It's easy to go and hide. It's easy to withdraw from life if that's what you're used to doing. It's easy to get angry and tell everybody off. It's easy. Those things are easy, just like it's easy to speak so harshly to yourself. So we have to realize that now we're trying to identify ways to not go back. I'm coping with my moment today. I'm coping with my moment by doing something. One of the things we're going to do, we're going to learn grounding. It's to rescue me from my emotional distress till I can put myself in a safe place. And when I put myself in that safe place, then I can think of what just happened. What solution do I need? What decision do I need to make? So yes, this is what this exercise is for. But we're going to go to the soothing grounding, soothing, you know, and in my generation, there was a group called the Commodores, and they had this song called Zoom. Oh my goodness. And guess what? We're on Zoom. But there was this song called Zoom. I like to fly far away from here. Oh, where my mind can be fresh and clear. Oh, that song, even I was in the 6th grade when that came out. But you know what? That song just meant so much because it was like a place you could fly away to. Like there's a program that I used to listen to called In the City of Oz, where in that city of Oz, there's nothing but saved Christian people there, and they don't do evil. They process when they have bad thoughts, and when they're jealous of someone, they think about it and they confess it, and it's like, wow, this world is so different. Wow, I wish I could go live in Oz. I wish I could fly far away from here. But guess what? We can't. Oz is an imaginary place. Zoom is just a song. But guess what? We can create our safe places. We can create our Oz's, and we can create those places we can fly far away to, those safe places. I can be at the beach in my safe place. Even though I'm right here looking at you, call me names, I'm going to remove myself from that distress so I can walk away, so I can put myself in that safe place, so I can get off the bus if I need to get off the bus, so I can ask for a continuance in court if I need to. But I'm going to do something to deal with that emotional stress. And right now we're going to talk about soothing the emotional self. So soothing, I have some notes here for you for that soothing grounding. Maybe I can say kind statements to myself. You know how we can talk to a child and we can say, you know what? You're going to be all right. You're going to make it. Keep your head up. Keep trying. We're going to say soothing statements like that. You know what, Andrea? You good. You got this, sweetheart. You've come a long way. You've done a lot of work on yourself. You're not that same person. You got this. Another thing you can think about is favorites. What are some of your favorites? For me, food. What's your favorite meal, Andrea? What is one of the things that will make you feel so good right now? That's one of the things, another one of my compulsive behaviors I'm working on is emotional eating, because I don't do drugs anymore. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes, but addiction reaches out in different areas. Oh, can't go here. We'll reach out here. So my thing is, when I'm going through emotional distress, when I'm feeling some kind of way, sometimes I reach out to food. So that's a situation that I'm trying to change, but one that I can still use to ground, soothing grounding, where I can maybe consider, because I love food and good fellowship. I love fellowshipping with people. I love socializing. Not all social circles am I comfortable in, and I'm big enough and grown enough to remove myself from those social circles. But my own social comforts, people that are like-minded with me, that's something. So when I'm putting myself in that safe place, then I'm putting myself in that place where maybe we're fellowshipping with some food, we're having some good conversation, sharing some laughs and some motivating, edifying stuff. Because I don't know about you, but I believe that you work hard in your life. You work hard with your families. You work hard just to survive. So sometimes we got to treat ourselves, right? So sometimes I soothe myself when I'm going through that distress by saying, you know what, Andrea? Tomorrow, I'm going to go and have that meal. I'm going to try that new Norms down the street. I'm going to go ahead and look up some nice things that I want to try. I want to try to cook, or I want to try to do for my family or do for myself. Some people I want to go out with, and we're going to have a good time. And, you know, I have a vacation scheduled. That's just an example. I have a vacation schedule and I'm looking forward to that 3-day vacation. Things like that. Start soothing yourself with kind statements. You got this. This is going to work. Even carry some pictures of people you care about. One thing that works for me, oh my God, is my children. My children, my older ones, you know, they're grown and gone. They have children of their own, but looking at the pictures of our grandchildren, or, I have a preteen, and, he goes through various challenges, but I love to see him laugh. And I think about, or I look through my phone, through those, if you have Google and they have the pictures from way back, I like looking at pictures when he was a little, that soothes me on the inside. I'll just look at my smartphone and look back to when he was younger, when he was 2 or 3 years old, and when he used to do little funny things, or think of little funny statements. I have pets. I love my pets, and I love to see them. I have a big dog and I have a little dog, and sometimes I'll just let the big dog in the house because I know the little dog hates it, and they just go at it and they make funny scenes. Or if I can't do that, guess what? Maybe I'll turn on the television and watch a show that has nothing to do with me. I think we talked about this yesterday. I'll watch a TV show. For me, it was 2.5 Men. That was a comedy show that I would watch. You'd be like, wow, I can't even imagine you watching that show, Miss Jackson. Right, because it has nothing to do with my life. It has no triggers, no reminders of what my stressors are. So I can escape in someone else's life, or I can turn on a song. Oh, Zoom, I'm gonna fly far away from here. Now, if I don't have those things at my fingertip, then I'm gonna say soothing statements to myself. Maybe I'm gonna sing that song to myself. I'm not really a good singer, but everybody sounds good to themselves, right? So I'm gonna just maybe sing that song in my head. I'm gonna fly far away. If to you on the outside, while I'm doing this grounding, that's what it looks like to the outsider. But on the inside, I'm having a good old time, and I'm putting myself in a safe place. I'm removing myself from my pain. I'm removing myself from that immediate distressor until I can get home or get in my car and process that stuff out. Another thing, I can have coping statements, things like, Andrea, just give yourself 5 minutes, or Andrea, this feeling is not final. This too shall pass. Things like that. Or I make a contract with myself. If in that place of distress, I'm going to say this to myself. I'm going to have a proactive plan so that I'm safe, so that I can be on myself. I can think of myself on a hike, tiring myself out, climbing Mount Everest somewhere. I can think of myself on the top saying, whoo, I made it. I made it. I made it. What is it that you can do? Soothing grounding. What are some things you can do? Play a nice song in your head, look at a picture. What are some of the things that you can do to soothe yourself and ground yourself away from that pain? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
So, as I already mentioned, but butter pecan, it's good to me. Eating. I gotta get away from it though, but eating, that's comforting.
Yes, it is. It is. Thank you for that. Because remember, guys, we're not using this as a way of life. We're using it as a rescue when we're in that distress. This is not what we're going to do every time life shows up. No, but when you're in that immediate place of stress, emotional pain, the drug cravings, then I'm gonna do something. If I could do mental grounding, I'm gonna do that. If I could do physical ground, if I can just stand there and jump up and down to get me through that moment, I'm gonna do that. But if I'm not, then I'm gonna do soothing grounding. Go ahead. Anyone else? What's your soothing grounding that you're gonna try?
For me, it's definitely encouraging words.
Okay.
Declarations. Proclaiming.
Yes.
So that's what kind of that helps me. And I really want to say I'm really thankful for this lesson on today, because it really fit where I am on today.
Awesome.
So this really came in handy. And even though sometimes these things, because again, I've been aware of this, but when you're caught up in that particular moment, it don't look like it's about to change. It's just look like this is the way it is. I gotta go through this all day long. But just grateful for the teaching on today. And Before you ask, I do. I feel better, and I'm grateful for the lesson on this afternoon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, before you go, I want to ask you, what is the most frequent, which was out of the grounding, soothing, physical, and mental, which of the three groundings do you think that you would be more prone to go to?
Because I've used all of them. Probably it would be the physical and the soothing.
Okay, excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you're feeling better than the okay that you felt earlier. And I want to take this same moment to check in with Sister Lupe. Sister Lupe, which one of the three grounding would you be more amped to use? And how do you feel now? Because you checked in just okay this afternoon. So go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Is Sister Lupe still with us? Okay, anyone else? Share with me.
Hi, Miss Jackson. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, Miss Shara, how you doing?
Hi. I'm good. I'm good. After hearing this lesson, I am well. I tell you, I didn't get a chance to check in yesterday or today, but I definitely wanted to get in today where I could fit in, and I needed what I've heard on today.
Wow.
I tell you, it have restored some things in me, and definitely wanted to share the grounds of me coping with different things. People are known to say I've always been a runner.
Okay.
Always
Okay.
been a runner, but I like to go get in my car and just drive sometimes. I love the beach, I love the park, and I'm able to go there. And when I get there, my tactic is to pray and just talk to God. And that gives me a safe haven. I feel safe all over again. I feel like I can cope a little bit better. I feel like things begin to unwind for me just a little bit more, and before I know it, I'm okay. And I can go a little bit further. And I thank God for it. Like I said, I thank God for everything that I've heard on today. It has really, I'm like Miss Bianca, it didn't feel so good when I first got on, but just listening to the different voices and their opinion about different things, and it really blessed me. Even when you, Miss Jackson, begin to speak, sometimes we'll run to food, for our safe haven, because and I can't say why, but it just feels good. And me, I've never been one to really eat a whole lot, but it still soothes me, it just gives me that. And even if I don't sit alone and eat, just the company of a friend, someone that's close or connected to you, it will relax your mind. It will take that, whatever is going on the inside of you, it'll take it away, or it'll timid it down a whole lot. And I'm telling you, I thank God for it, because it's nothing like being able to cope. Because when you stop coping, you stop being able to cope, that's when you got a problem, because now you're ready to fall apart. So thank God for the mind of having the coping skills to be able to relax in whatever it is that you're going through or been through or in at the current situation. Thank God for it.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Mr. Sheridan snuck in on us. I didn't know you were here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for your sharing and thank you for your check-in. I want to ask you, out of the three, the mental grounding, the physical grounding, and the soothing grounding, and I heard you say pray. Because sometimes when that emotional stuff is going on, when you're confronted with a trigger, when something's happening, when that bill comes, when that school call, when any of those things can be a problem. Right now, I have an emotional thing and I don't want to go back to the old way of responding. So right here, right now, I can pray. No one knows what I'm doing. I could be in a room with the court. I could be in the room with a million people. No one know what I'm doing, but I'm getting my peace. I'm getting my peace. So sound like to me, soothing grounding would be your number one go-to in that time of distress. Is that so?
That is so.
Awesome. Yeah, because sometimes we can't, when we're going through these things, we can't get to the park. We can't get to the beach. We can't, get to our actual safe place because right now it's happening now. The judge is talking to me now and I have to render an answer now, but I can't with all this distress going on. Well, I'm waiting for my opportunity, but I'm about to run out the door because I get so much stuff. And if I run out the door, if these old things get me, then worry's going to overtake me. I'm going to go, those old behaviors are going to come, drug use, anger, whatever it is. When that emotional distress is upon us, I got to be able to cope because I know where I've come from. I started way back here. But guess what? I'm in pursuit to change. And somewhere on the road of change, while I'm on that bridge, sometimes I get stuck in a place called here because someone or some situation or something has caused me some emotional distress. And if that emotional distress is not coped with immediately, I can make a dumb decision and I can go all the way back or even 5 steps back or 10 steps back. But guess what? We don't have to take those steps back anymore. We're going to cope with our emotional pain. We're going to rescue ourselves from that urgent moment. We're going to put ourselves in safety so we can take the time to say, what just happened? How am I going to prepare for that when it happens again? And we're going to keep on down that road of change. Anybody else before we close out today? Anybody else?
Okay, this is Bianca. I'm sorry, this is Miss Grace.
Okay.
For me, it's physical and mental. I have to visualize things.
Okay.
Really, really visualize it and go to the what if I do this, what the consequences will be.
I love that.
So I have to really visualize the thing and even sometimes speak it out. And like I say, I'm a dreamer. I visualize stuff a lot.
Okay.
So I'm always trying to put myself ahead and think about, okay, these are consequences now. What are you gonna do? Yeah. So like I said, either the physical, I'll just take myself, I find myself spending hours with the word puzzle, a trivia game, and that takes me away. And I'm like, come to myself, like, why I just spent so many hours doing this? And then I forgot about the thing that really had me angered or triggered me to want to go take a drink or something. And it surprised me, with this thing that just happened. It's like, I didn't even go there. I just like, you know what? Okay, it's here, it's now. So I just, a friend asked me to take a ride with her. So I'm way out here somewhere, Mar Vista, Vista Marina somewhere. And it took me away from that. So it's visual, mental, and physical for me.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that because we have to have these things in our tool belt. Remember, guys, we have to have them in our tool belt so that once we up the ladder, we can't come down off the ladder to find out what we're going to do or what we need and then go back up. Every day we're learning what we need and we're operating in it so that when we get on that ladder, when we get in that emotional stress, when life shows up, guess what? we got some tools to cope with the moment until we can get away and say, you know what, now what am I going to do? Because we're not going to leave. Go ahead.
I know, and I want to just tell you, I thank you for, this right here, this lesson right here, this meeting. It was a right now thing for me, and I had to hear all of that, because even though without even hearing those things, I was doing those things.
Yeah.
Before I got onto Zoom, because it's like, man, I got hurt on Zoom. I didn't want to get on because I had company in the car. I'm riding with somebody else. I have to wait till they got out, and just to hear everything, I had to, wow, this is my right now thing, what I'm going through right now.
Right now.
So I thank you for the tools. Like you say, put them in your sack, because one day you're going to go back to that sack, you're going to need them. So I thank you for this meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Grace, for being here and all your participation. Because, guys, we have to have our tools right there in our sack and our belt, and we have to have them ready. This is what's called being proactive. We're proactive so we don't have to be reactive. Those immediate reactive responses are the ones that set us back, way back where we used to be. But if we can be able to cope without right now urgent stuff until we can get to a safe place and then deal with the matters at hand. Because remember, we're not trying to run away from our problems. No. We're not trying to run away from our problems. We're not trying to act like they're not there. We're not trying to avoid our issues. What we're trying to do is put ourselves in a better emotional state that the distress has now caused us to possibly do something that we used to do that we don't want to do. We're going to cope with that. And then when we get in that place of safety, then we're going to move forward and we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to take care of those problems. Miss Grace, you're going to find a solution about your car. You're not going to lose your car. You're not going to do that. You've invested too much, just like you said. You know what I'm saying? You'll find it. But if I'm in that emotional state, then the brain doesn't work solid. The brain doesn't work. And guess what? 72 hours would have passed. She would have possibly picked up a drink, gone to use. And guess what? Before she come back, before she know it, her car is gone. But today, we're taking authority over those thoughts and emotions that drive us to certain behaviors. We're going to practice our techniques. We're going to do what we have to do. We're not going to just sit there and do nothing and let fear overtake us, drug cravings overtake us, let the stress overtake us. We're not going to do that. We're going to practice these techniques and we're going to live. Again, the word tells us faith without works is dead. Sometimes we just want God to do it. I understand it. God, you take this away. We want God to miraculously take care of everything. But guess what? He's given us the power to get wealth over our situations, wealth over our poverty, wealth over our bad behaviors, wealth over those things that are compulsive, wealth and increase and power. He has given that to us. And I'm just so grateful to each and every one of you for chiming in today. So tomorrow we won't be here, but we're going to resume Monday at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Any last comments, questions, statements that you'd like to share before we close out for the day? All right. Sounds like all hearts are clear. Remember, guys, live free. Talk to you Monday.